Winnipeg. Jake Maier and Calgary, not a great season, but they found their way into the postseason. They have a ticket to the dance. On the other side, great year for BC, tremendous year for their quarterback.
Well, no quarterback threw for more yards than Vernon Adams this year, almost 5,000, and keep in mind he missed 2 starts due to injury. Vernon Adams leads a great receiving corps on a fast track this afternoon. Jake Maier, when the Calgary Stampeders have had their most success and won big games against Toronto, against BC a couple of weeks ago, he got the run going and the play action game. No quarterback in the league started every game except Jake Maier.
Dave Dickinson and his Calgary Stampeders just 3-7 in their last 10, but a couple of critical wins down the stretch to secure this spot with a little bit of help, of course, from the Riders. And on the other side, for the BC Lions, Rick Campbell and his club, 6-3 at home this season, 12-6 overall, and they have won 5 of their last 7. They took 2 of the 3 games head-to-head this year. Of course, Calgary came in here just a couple of weeks ago and walked out with a confidence-building 41-16 victory. Stampeders did win the coin toss and decided to take the football, and we will do it again. They did it last year. BC Lions ended up getting a ticket to Winnipeg to take on the Bombers, but enough waiting around here in Vancouver. We are underway in the West semifinal, and this will be taken by Logan at the 10. Back to the 20, right up the middle. Heavy collision to start this football game. That's how you start playoff football.
That's some great contact to get things kicked off in the West semifinal. Logan's got to regroup. Did a lot of damage offensively 2 weeks ago against the BC Lions, but Josh Archibald got it going for the BC Lions. He's setting the tone.
I think they just showed it on the big screen here at BC Place, and you can hear the crowd when the collision happened. 1st and 10 for Calgary on their own 29. Maier, he's great in play action.
Got him.
Down the field to Beggleton, he's got him at the 50. Down to the 40, and a big strike early from the Calgary Stampeders. And who else? Reggie Beggleton gets it started.
Everybody all week leading into this game have talked about the Calgary run game. The BC Lions knew it, and they were preparing to stop the run on 1st down. And what does Calgary do out of the gate? They go to play action. Deep crossing route by Reggie Beggleton. 2 weeks ago, he dropped that early in the game. Not tonight.
43 yards to Beggleton to start this game for Jake Maier. Down to the BC 38. Now they'll go to Kadeem Carey, and he trucks that one right up the middle. Nice pickup on 1st down. Let's take a look at Jake Maier here.
Well, both these quarterbacks are making their 2nd playoff start, both looking for their 1st playoff touchdown throw. Both he and VA, but 6-12 season, completed over 60% of his passes and over 4,000 yards throwing the football. Last 4 games of the season, Jake Maier has not thrown for over 200 yards in any of them, but he also hasn't thrown an interception.
He has looked after the football. Maier looking to throw here on 2nd down.
Got him.
Down the field again, Markin Michel, touchdown Calgary! What a start for the Stampeders! Maier to Michel, and they go on top with a 32-yard strike. Can you believe this?
Let's fucking go, baby! Let's fucking go! Hey, come on!
What a start for the visiting team. And when we talk to Jake Maier coming into this one, and of course the conversation starts with, nobody expects you to win out in Vancouver. He said that makes us a dangerous team. What a start.
Could not ask for better. 3 plays for 81 yards in less than 2 minutes. Calgary won the toss, said give us the ball. An offense that has been stuck in neutral pretty much the entire season comes out firing on all cylinders, and they have a 7-0 lead. A big strike to Reggie Beggleton sets the stage for this. Markin Michel dropped in there nicely by Jake Maier.
Fake to the inside, freezes Jones. He gets out of his back pedal a little bit. Watch him jump that right plant foot. And as he breaks back to the outside, he just has to get by, a little swim, and around he goes. touchdown throw off play action again for Jake Mayer.
Yeah, Jake Mayer has been excellent in play action. His numbers actually significantly better when they get teams biting on the run, and it worked out that time. And when you combine what happened last time Calgary was here with the way they started this game, I think that could easily put some doubts in the BC Lions.
Well, and it helps validate the process for Calgary, that's for sure.
We have a technical issue here at BC Place. We're going to step away for just a moment. We will be back. West semifinal action. Off to a great start, Vancouver. Here for Calgary, and here's a look at how they made it to this point, Glenn.
Well, 6-12 on the season, and a lot of people will say they backed into the playoffs, but they had to win in the last month 2 big games. They had to beat the BC Lions 2 weeks ago. They got that done right here at BC Place, and they had to beat Saskatchewan to win the season series, and they got that done too. So whether they backed in or not, they look like they're playing with great confidence, and what a start for the Stamps.
Technical issues taken care of. You didn't miss anything. Quick adjustment on the field here, and we are good to go. Terry Williams back there ready to return it. BC is down 7. Haven't even touched the football yet. Williams will take it at the 20. Back to the 30. Tackled at the 35. Wrapped up, held on to the ball, and that is where Vernon Adams will get to start in his second career playoff start.
His second career start. Back in 2019 was the last one. There's his totals on the season, almost 70% in the completion percentage department, just shy of 5,000 yards passing and a good TD to interception ratio. And if you took 1 or 2 games out of there, one game in Toronto where he threw 6 picks, that looks even better. But he's got a fast track and a great receiving core.
Second in the league in passing touchdowns behind only Zach Collaros. Throwing here, has a completion early just outside the 40, and that is held onto by Katoy as he hauls that in. Took a bump there too, didn't he?
Quick out, timing route. Last time 2 weeks ago, Calgary went with a lot of 3-man pressure and dropped the rest into coverage, trying to force Vernon Adams Jr. to be patient with the football. Should be able to block up 3 rush defensive linemen with your 5 O-line.
Darius Williams and Roberson combined on that tackle. 3 options to the left here for Vernon Adams. Has some time, goes over the middle, and that is through the hands of Katoy, who catches the ball at an 84% clip so far this season, among the best in the league. And let's get another look at this one.
Well, one of the guys that has had just a great season in the Calgary defense has been Cam Judge, who's right there and close. He got Vernon Adams a couple of weeks ago, or excuse me, early in the season in game 2 against the BC Lions. But 5 interceptions on the season for Cam Judge. He was close there.
And now this kick out of bounds at the 45. Well, if you were wondering why Calgary came out on fire, let's take a look at what happened pregame.
Football's too tough a game to just play for yourself. Love you guys. You gotta play for more than yourself. Play for your dad. Play for your brothers. Play for your grandma. Do something special and be proud of it. Show up. Finish these guys. We're winning the game. Go take it. Dominate on 3. 1, 2, 3. Dominate.
They believe. Records don't matter now. Regular season is done.
Just an 11-yard swing after the punt and the penalty. Kadeem Carey, can he break a tackle? No, Woods wraps him up. Boy, if he could have got past Woods, he would have had a little bit of room. Let's take a look at this Calgary offense here this afternoon.
Yeah, up front, Sean McEwen, divisional all-star, West Division center, the all-star team. And when you go back into the receiving corps, Reggie Begelton, their #1 guy back in the lineup. Don't be surprised at all to see the BC Lions defensively double-team Begelton in 2nd and long.
Begelton targeted on average over 8 times per game, leads the league in that category. 3 options out to the right for Mayer, looks that way, pressure up the middle, dumps it off, Michelle's got it, and he is stopped possibly just shy of a first down. If it is 3rd, it'll just be inches.
Manuel Recumba's coming on a blitz here. He's going to come right up through, I believe it's B-gap, right in the throwing lane in front of Jake Mayer. It was B-gap, coming right through that gap between guard and center, or guard and tackle. And Jake Mayer throws it around that pressure.
Nice adjustment from Jake Mayer to make that happen. Sets up Tommy time. Stevens into the game here. 3rd and 1. Trying to push ahead, broke a tackle, and he's got it. Tommy Stevens executes it once again.
Speaking of all-star seasons, how about Matthew Betts in his 4th year out of Laval University, leading the Canadian Football League, and that's everybody in sacks. Josh Woods will start for Bo Lacumbo in this one, and Recumba also a divisional all-star in the West. Speaking of all-stars, that's Sean Tsai, Gary Peters, and TJ Lee both made the team.
1st and 10 from the Lions, 41. Mayer looks to his right, throws that way, intercepted by Peters. Steps inside Begelton and takes it away. Big turnover here for the Lions defense. Gary Peters, 4 interceptions in the regular season, and now he's got a big one to get momentum here in the playoffs.
6 on the season, 2nd in the West Division. Won 2 of their 3 meetings versus Calgary, so they had the season series there. Not that it mattered when you look at the win-loss column, but big seasons for Vernon Adams and Matthew Betts. This is friendly fire, and 2 guys are being attended to. One is Ben Hladek, who you just saw. The other is Gary Peters on the interception coming across. It looks like they just went knee to knee there. Hladek driving from inside out to get to that ball, and Peters got there first, but with their 2 knees hit, Peters is in the tent. Looks like he's trying to walk it off, and see if we can get an update soon.
Hladek having just a sensational 100-tackle season for the BC Lions. They do have some depth, but that would be a big loss. Lions start from their own 35. Adams fakes the handoff. Now he'll go to his running back, who has some room to work, and he's got a 1st down for the Lions. Taquan Mizell gets it done.
Nice little screen play set up with some blocking up front. Mike Rose coming around the edge. They want to draw the defense towards Vernon Adams so they can throw it right in behind him to Mizell, who is healthy for the first time in probably about a month and a half. Started out strong for the Lions this season, kind of dropped off, but he's been nicked. He's healthy now.
And he stands in to the right of his quarterback. Rhymes and Hatcher will slide into the slot to the right of Adams. He throws it to the left back to Katoy. Another 1st down for the Lions. And he rumbles down inside the 50, his 2nd catch of the ball game.
Quick hitters right now, a little screen and quick hitters for Vernon Adams. He sees that Katoy has found the soft spot in the Calgary zone with Kobe Williams playing way off, and dropped it to him for a 15-yard gain.
Up to the Calgary 48. Adams, just 3 men rush from Calgary. Drops it in just inside the 35. And that is Hollins for the 1st time today.
He's going to go through Vernon Adams. The progressions here when he snaps the ball. Look, he's checking this side. Then he's going to go over the middle and finally come back the opposite way. Lots of time, and if Calgary's going to send 3 or just 4, then Vernon Adams can be patient.
16-yard pickup there. Adams back to Hollins again. Flag on the play as Hollins turns this upfield. But a flag thrown, and that one will be coming back on a hold.
Holding BC number 51. 10-yard penalty. Will replay 1st down.
It's your center, Michael Couture, guilty.
Watching after the fact, Perkins looked like there's Couture, the center. Julian Hauser had lined up inside, and he just pulled that shoulder pad down.
1st and 20, slows down what was a pretty good looking drive for the Lions. Adams trying to get it back on track, and he does. First down, BC, a strike into the arms of Dominic Grimes.
That's exactly what that was. That is a strike for Dominic Grimes, who missed about half the season this year. But he is a smooth route runner that can read it on the fly, and that's a tight window, and Vernon Adams fit it in.
Just 10 games played for number 19, but clearly a difference maker when healthy and in this lineup. Adams is 5 of 6 for 72 yards here in the opening quarter. Into the red zone go the Lions, where they're clipping along just under 60% on the season. And now a direct snap to their running back, and they'll pick up a couple of yards on 1st down.
Take a look at the starting offensive lineup for the BC Lions. Suk Chung was a divisional all-star in the West. It's a group that has been together pretty much all season long. One of the reasons that Vernon Adams got to almost 5,000 yards. One change in the starting lineup. Lucky Whitehead is dressed and ready to go and will sub in. But Justin McInnes, 200-yard games in the last 6. He's earned the starting spot. 4
touchdowns on the season as well. Calgary trying to bring some heat to get it away. And that is hauled in by Rhymes for a BC 1st down.
Vernon Adams is just slinging it right now. Again, throwing it around the rush. Had to adjust his throwing motion to get it out there. And Dominic Rhymes, a quick out. We've seen a couple of those routes. The progression from that is the out and out.
Keep an eye on
Plant that seam.
Keep an eye on it.
Plant that seam, Dustin.
8th play of the drive. 1st and goal from the Calgary 8. Empty backfield for Adams. 3 to the left, 3 to the right. Looks to the left, throws to the left. Hatcher can't get it off his fingertips and out of bounds, incomplete.
I think Vernon Adams saw Trey Roberson, the corner out there, that was closing and looking like his angle was going to be to undercut this wide field throw. It's a long throw from that far side hash mark. Even though they've moved him in, he kind of slings it out there. But you see 31 cutting underneath that. You wanted to make sure that wasn't picked off and going the other way.
A little bit of pressure from Adeyemi Berglund in the face of VA as he let that one fly. Mizell stands in next to his quarterback. Adams, a little bit of time, end zone, touchdown BC, Javon Coutoy, and there's your answer from the home side.
Great answer. BC's got the home crowd behind them, well over 30,000 in attendance here, and they're going down 7-0. Vernon Adams brings it all the way back. Javon Coutoy finishes the drive.
Sean White out for the first time today to even this thing up at 7, and that is exactly what he does. This drive started after a Gary Peters interception of Jake Mayer, and they go 9 plays, 75 yards to even up this ballgame. Here's a look at Calgary's first touchdown drive, which only took 3 plays.
But went 81 yards. Big play out of the gate to Bagleton off play action, and that's where everyone talking about the run game for Calgary. Well, they waited a play and then went to the run game. 3 plays, 81 yards. That was a 2-minute drive.
This one bounces into the arms of Longley, takes it to 35, lowers his shoulders and tries to stretch it out, and he's held just shy of the 40. Jake Mayer, 81 yards already in this ballgame, touchdown and an interception, which he hasn't had many of lately.
No, he's been very good at protecting the football over the last month. One of the reasons they won those 2 big games, the season series matchup mid-October versus Saskatchewan, and the Lions game, got him in.
Gary Peters is back out there. Lacombo in for Haladic right now, but we are told by Farhan that Haladic does appear to be okay. Here's Kadeem Carey. This is going to be a loss. Lions defense all over 35 in white.
Ryan Phillips goes with a run-stopping blitz and brings Lacombo, who's in for Haladic here. He's going to bring him all the way around the corner and almost run blitz this. He runs that blitz from the linebacking core right into the running play for Kadeem Carey. Had nowhere to go. 7-yard loss.
BC Lions blitz on first down 55% of the time. Second highest rate across the league this year. 7-yard loss. 2nd and 17. 4 options out to the left for Mayer. Pressure coming again. Gets it away and it's hauled in. Excellent effort by Begelton.
Wow.
But won't be near enough for the first down after the 7-yard loss. It'll still be 3rd and 9.
But this friendly fire has hit the BC Lions again. A little slow to get up. Looks like it's Mike Jones part of this collision with his running mate out there at halfback Marcus Sales. Wide field throw. Begelton in between the two defenders, and wow. It was actually
TJ Lee.
TJ Lee, looks like. I thought it was 9. Actually, TJ Lee took the brunt of that hit right there.
Marcus Sales on TJ Lee, a hit that if it's on the other team you're insanely proud of. That time he just missed the intended target, and TJ Lee happened to be waiting right there after another sensational regular season from the 9-year Lion.
Already without Jalen Edwards-Cooper, that's where Mike Jones starts this game, out at that corner. TJ Lee and usually Gary Peters work together. It looks like he'll be okay. That's good to see. Just getting his bearings again. He'll have to go through the concussion protocol on the sideline before he can return.
Terry Williams waits as Cody Grace gets set to kick this away. He stands on his own 25, lets it fly from the 30. High kick, gonna hang up there for a bit. Williams takes it cleanly after a 45-yard kick. Now Williams trying to find some space on the near sideline. Can he turn it up the field? Stays on his feet to the 45, and eventually out of bounds before he can get to the 50. For more on Vernon Adams, let's send it down to Farhan Lalji.
Yeah, guys, the rivalry between Cam Judge and VA goes back all the way to their high school days. Judge told me a story about when he was heading into his sophomore year, his 10th grade year. They played 7-on-7 against each other. Their two schools did. He was at Oaks Christian High School in California at that point, and he intercepted him in a 7-on-7 game, and that helped solidify him as the starting linebacker that year. During the regular season, however, in actual padded football, VA got the better of him. He completed a key 3rd and 10 for a first down. They've learned about each other since then, and one of the things VA says is that he is so aggressive. He believes that Judge and Micah Awe are the best linebacker tandem in the league, but he says they're so aggressive that there are times when I know he's going to jump certain things that I might be able to come back away from. That said, Judge has had the better of him this year. 2 interceptions, 1 in the last game, 1 in the season opener.
Well, in both Micah Awe, Cam Judge, both nominees for Outstanding Player Awards out of the Calgary Stampeders this year, and just incredible season for Cam Judge. Just I think a miss that he didn't make the divisional all-star team. Awe did. Not to take anything away from anyone who did make the team, it just tremendous season for Cam Judge with 5 picks, a couple of sacks, 106 defensive tackles.
2nd and 10, and that is completed at the 45. They get McInnes involved for the first time this afternoon. First down, Vancouver.
Well, that's what I mean about Justin McInnes earning the right to start in the playoffs, because he has had a great back half of the season and has earned the trust of his quarterback. Vernon Adams will go to him in clutch situations on 2nd down when they need to come back and they're going for the end zone, and he's produced.
Adams is already over 100 yards passing in this game. Looking for more.
Yeah, Mom!
And he's got it. This time, gets it to Rhymes against his Calgary defense.
Take a look at that group up front. Mike Rose on the interior had 11 sacks on the season. He led their team in that category. There's the guys we were just talking about, Mike Alway and Cameron Judge. And in the secondary, they're going to go with Michael Griffin at halfback. Brad Muhammad injured and not able to play in this one. Nick Taylor will play that safety spot.
Well, time ticking down here in the first quarter.
Calgary is challenging the previous play. They believe the pass was incomplete. The play will be reviewed.
It's interesting. That was right in front of the bench of the Calgary Stampeders. Dave Dickinson had a great angle on that.
Dickinson has thrown his challenge flag 11 times this year, has won 3 times. Oh.
Well, that's an interesting look from that side, because it looks like the question is he got control there and would have been ruled a fumble if he loses it there. A little bit skewed in slow motion. Does he have, in super slow motion, does he have possession before he starts going to the ground here?
Because then it would have been, if he had
a catch, and then if the ball's moving and he hasn't secured it, then that's incomplete. Yeah, then that's incomplete.
And definitely it did touch the turf there, and it looked like it was loose on the way down, but we will get the official ruling here in a 7-7 ball game. And this would make it 2nd and 10. Dickinson and many other coaches around the league this year have not had a lot of luck with the challenge.
Upon review by the command center, it was an incomplete pass. It will be 2nd down and 10 yards from the 42-yard line.
Well, he got it right, but a challenge on 1st and a 5-yard gain in the first quarter is interesting. And you're right. Dave Dickinson was 2 of 8 this year, now 3 of 9 with his playoff challenge. Coaches were at 27% success rate. A topic for another day.
That's an off-season discussion, I think. From the 42, Adams with pressure, trying to get away, and he does. Now he drops it over to Hatcher, and he hauls it in. Are you kidding me? They trip him up just inside the 10. What a play by VA as he connects with Hatcher for 36 yards.
Lots of question coming into this one on the health of Vernon Adams Jr. How was that knee? Practiced all week, took all the #1 reps, didn't wear the knee brace that he wore at the end of the season, and you can see the mobility absolutely there. He avoids the pass rush off the edge, steps up, and a great touch throw to drop it over Trey Roberson to Hatcher, who has big games against the Calgary Stampeders. I mean, it just seems one after another. #4 gets him behind the Calgary secondary.
Final play of the quarter. Can the Lions find the end zone again for a lead after 1? Adams with time. Now he's going to take off right up the middle. Vernon Adams touchdown. Does it himself. BC Lions go on top of the legs of VA.
Talked all week, Vernon Adams Jr. about not having any regrets. Just get out there, have some fun, enjoy the moment, and attack. And that's exactly what he's done. He's looked great both in his mobility and also his accuracy.
BC Lions offense starting to hit high gear. 5 plays, 61 yards in just over 2 minutes. And Sean White to give them a 7-point cushion after the opening 15. Of course he hits it. How about Vernon Adams? 145 yards passing, a touchdown through the air, and a touchdown on the ground. And BC has clawed back after trailing 7-0, leading 14-7. There is something that jumps off the page for you here, though.
Yeah, it is. It's you know, I get with Calgary coming out in that first series. Everyone all week talking about the Calgary run game from 2 weeks ago, and they rushed for over 200 yards against the Lions. Big reason for the win. But in the first series they go play action. That I get, because you're saying everyone's talking run. Let's go in behind them and take a shot, and they get a 7-0 lead with it. But this is what they do well. They run the ball with great balance, and Jake Maier's at his best in play action. 4 yards rushing in the quarter. I think 35's got to get the ball a little bit more.
3 touches for Kadeem Carey for 2 yards. The other 2 yards, short yardage situation with Tommy Stevens. If you're just joining us, Calgary opened the scoring on the first drive of the game to take a 7-0 lead. Since then, all BC Lions, led by their quarterback, Vernon Adams. Logan on the return will be wrapped up and locked down. Let's get some injury updates from Farhan Lalji.
Well, guys, Ben Haladik is in the locker room. They're hoping he can come back, but they're going to give him a little more time for it to settle. So if we see him, it might be in the second half. As for TJ Lee, he was evaluated during that last offensive possession for a head injury. Went through the protocol, but he's fine, helmet on, and he's back on the field right now, along with Gary Peters. So they got to get rid of this friendly fire. I hope you two aren't hitting each other up in the booth when things are going wrong, guys.
Not yet. Not yet. We'll have to see about that. Mayer. Excellent first drive. We'll see if they can rekindle some of that here. Kadeem Carey found a little bit of a hole. Pretty decent pickup on first down. It'll lead to second and relatively manageable here.
Yeah, you know, you can break down the run game against the BC Lions. For Kadeem Carey, you know, it may not look all that impressive in those early games of West Final from last year in the June and August game, but in October when they beat the Lions, he got 15 for 88. Logan chipped in for 105 in that game. Together they were over 200 total. Big reason they won that one.
Back on the ground again. Kadeem Carey finds some space. Takes it all the way out to the 50. His biggest play of the ball game. And there's the running game that we've been expecting from the Calgary Stampeders. 16 yards.
Well, they'll bring in extra guys for block and help up front. So an uneven line, little blocking help off the edge. And Kadeem Carey will make himself skinny in the hole right here. Look how small he's got to get himself to get through there. Arm tackle attempt on the outside. Not going to make it happen. They're not going to make it happen there.
Up to the 50. Back on the ground again, and this time tripped up. He wanted more, didn't he? And he might have had it too. That was an excellent burst, but the tackle was made. That's Ryder Varga who got an arm on him.
Yeah, I think Dave Dickinson and Mark Mueller, the play callers for the Calgary Stampeders offensively, they looked at the stats after quarter one and said, wait, 4 yards rushing for Kadeem Carey? Hang on. That's 3 straight runs, isn't it?
Ain't gonna cut it. Peyton Logan into the game now. 4 receivers to the left. And flags on the play as Mayer got it to Beggleton. But this is a penalty against the visitors.
Illegal procedure. Calgary, number 60, 5-yard penalty. It remains second down.
Josh Woods off the edge at linebacker. He times up his blitz so well that I think it got the O-line a little bit jumpy. There's Woods lined up on the edge for the Lions, and he's out of the gate quick, and you can see Deontay Desmarais just gets out of his stance a little early.
That'll back them up 5, second and 12 on their own 48. Odoms Dukes into the slot to the right. Market Michelle to the left for Mayer. Mayer feeling a little bit of heat, looking for Dukes, and it's batted down by Josh Woods.
Ryan Phillips, the defensive coordinator for the Lions, is going to go with this look with, you're not going to see him yet, but TJ Lee from the secondary is going to come on what's called a hammer blitz. He's coming off the edge. Now, part of that is to go with Lacombo to take away the run first, possible run to Peyton Logan, and then leave the rest in man-to-man. That time it worked perfectly, as designed.
Cody Grace averaged just over 47 yards per punt on the season, and a flag on the player. 48-yard kick. Williams trying to break it free, stays on his feet, tracked down from behind. Vernon Adams Jr. and the BC Lions in control. Goes. Coverage begins at 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific, only on TSN.
Congratulations, Montreal Alouettes. A big win in the Eastern semifinal before our game. This is clearly roughing the kicker. This is Amir Sadiq in the D-line rotation and playing on special teams, hitting that plant leg. There's no question. It's a new set of downs.
And up to the 47. He'll hand it off again. And back to the line of scrimmage, not much further for Kadeem Carey.
One of the guys that's getting the start is Woody Barron at defensive end for BC, and that should help them in the run defense category with a guy playing off the edge at 6'2", 270 pounds. He was right there to turn Kadeem Carey towards the sideline.
Ended up losing a yard on the play, so 2nd and 11, trying to take advantage of this roughing the kicker penalty. Calgary's offense, can they stay on the field? Mayer gets it away over the middle, wide open. He's got a man down to the 30, and inside the 30 they go, and that is Colton Hunchak. Just 7 catches in the regular season, but a big one here.
Yeah, big one, and getting in the starting lineup. Here's a kid that grew up in Calgary, went to high school at Notre Dame in Calgary, dreamed of playing for the Calgary Stampeders one day, got drafted real late, but did get drafted by Calgary, making a big catch in the playoffs.
Fresh set of downs, Lions 27. Back to Carey again. Found a little bit of space, takes it down inside the 25, 6-yard pickup on first down, and that'll bring him over 30 yards in the first half.
So the best pass rusher off the edge in the CFL this year was this guy, Matthew Betts, out of Laval. Look what a good run game does to a great pass rusher. It makes him sit at the line of scrimmage for a split second. He's got to take the run away first and can't just get off the edge and get after the quarterback. It was a run down, so he's going to play that for sure first, but a good run game can slow a pass rush.
They need 3 more yards for another first down. Back to Carey. Is he going to get it? Not even close. Up to the 20. And that's it. Josh Banks, among others, in on this play.
Yeah, Calgary that confident in their running game to go for it with 3 yards to go here. Good penetration and push up the middle by Josh Banks. That forces Carey to the outside, and there he is, Matthew Betts getting in on that tackle.
What it will do is it'll set up a 27-yard field goal attempt from Paredes. 25 of 31 in his career. So far this season, 86.7 straight down the gut. And it is a 4-point ball game with 8:44 remaining. Banks, Betts, finishing off Kadeem Carey. Whitehead today. For more on that decision, let's send it down to Farhan Lalji.
Yeah, Dustin, Coach Campbell made it clear, look, this is not a demotion of Lucky Whitehead. It is a promotion of Justin McInnes, a reward because of how productive he's been. Now, he did start 13 games this year for different players all the way through, and he's just been a plug-and-play guy for them, regardless of where he's had to line up. I said, have you always been able to understand that many things? He said, yeah, you know, I was a really good student as well. I had no problem, never felt a lot of stress with homework, just got everything done, got my degree. He feels he's been able to translate that into learning all of this. But the equally impressive part was how Lucky dealt with it, because last week during the bye, he actually addressed the team about being disciplined and everybody showing selflessness. Then on the weekend, he got the news, so he had to live up to that. And there's been some times this year when he hasn't gotten the ball and he hasn't necessarily been thrilled with that. But this week he said, I want to be there for my guys. I don't want any drama. I don't want anyone to get rattled because my energy's in the wrong place. So it really has worked out well. Win-win for all concerned.
Not an easy pill to swallow, but an important one for the team.
Well, and he'll rotate in. We're going to see him on the field here this afternoon. Big play guy.
Meisel's got a first down as they go back-to-back on the ground.
But you have to be that way, and Rick Campbell has built the culture here in Vancouver so that they are selfless, that they will put the goal of the team ahead of their individual goals. Everyone has individual goals, but they have to be put aside for the good of the team and to get the win.
1st and 10 from their own 54. Adams with time finds Hollins out in the flat, turns it upfield for a first down. He looked to Hollins and then he looked away, and then he was just like, you know what, I'm just going to go back to him.
Well, he had good protection, and there wasn't, I think it was 3-man pressure here. So with just 3-man pressure, he has time, and Vernon Adams is being patient. Watch Hollins way out there on the boundary. He's just sitting there. I'm here. I'm here. You need me? I'm here. He wanted something bigger and then didn't see it downfield, so he thought, okay, I'll get it out there to 13. Divisional all-star. Why not?
Nice burst from Hollins. Stewart couldn't angle him out sooner. 6 different players with a catch from Adams today. Now a little bit of pressure. Adams steps up, throws it over the middle. Another completion, this time to Hatcher. Dozier is there to hang on to him, but a first down for the BC Lions.
What confidence from Vernon Adams Jr. in this pocket. I heard Milt Stegall before the game say it's up to Vernon Adams. The result of this game will be about how he plays. And Vernon Adams Jr. tonight, wow, he's on. I mean, composure, managing the pocket, stepping up, almost 200 yards passing, eyes downfield. There's Hatcher.
Great look telling Hatcher, hey, like, scoot over that way a bit. And then he gunned it in there to him. 1st and 10, 3rd trip to the red zone. Adams over the middle again. And that's right back to Cotoy. Already has a touchdown in this game. And that is his 4th catch of the ball game.
Well, it was great, too, that we saw Jordan Maximic, the offensive coordinator, here a second ago, because the play calling and the different looks and routes are giving Vernon Adams Jr. lots of options. He had Hollins out there on the sideline again wide open and decided to go to Cotoy over the middle.
1st and goal from the Calgary 7. Meisel trying to pick his way towards the end zone, stops after a pickup of a couple of yards, and it'll be 2nd and goal from just inside the 5.
Mix it in. Little run game to Meisel. Again, Maximic from St. Albert, Alberta. Got his coaching debut really in the Canadian Football League in Edmonton as a quarterback coach. Worked with Nathan Rourke last year, and man, he's got Vernon chucking it.
7th play of the drive. Adams in trouble, avoids it, rushing towards the end zone. Touchdown! 2nd of the game for Vernon Adams as he continues to work some magic against the Calgary Stampeders.
Yemi Berglund is the contained man for the Calgary Stampeders here. He gets caught inside of Jarrell Broxton on the edge, or is it? No, it is Perkins on the right tackle spot, and as soon as he loses contain, Vernon Adams makes him pay.
Micah Alway, 134 tackles on the year. Did not have the juice to get there that time on Vernon Adams. Have yourself a day. 2 rushing touchdowns, another one through the air. Almost 200 yards passing in the first half. And his team's in full control. That he had this season were some just massive, massive games.
Well, tops in the league when you look at the almost 500 yards passing in a game. He's on pace here this afternoon for another 400 plus, closing in on 200 before the end of the first half. Not his best in his career, though.
Oh, we'll get to that. Here's Logan. Nice return all the way back up to the 40. We said not the best in his career. Let's dial it back to college. How about 475 and 7 passing touchdowns?
Yeah, just back to his days in Washington, and I'll tell you what, 7 passing touchdowns. one game. And by the way, when we asked him the question, he knew the answer pretty quickly.
You remember that one, eh?
You remember those big ones.
Jake Mayer barking out some last-second instructions. Got to get this ball snapped. Gets away just in time. Out into the flat. Markin Michel breaks a tackle and another. And he'll pick up a first down, a gain of 12 on the play for Calgary. Nice response here.
Yeah, we've seen Markin Michel with a couple of plays in this first half for Calgary, and they're going to need him. They're going to need to lean on him because you know Ryan Phillips will spend more attention with Reggie Begelton, especially on passing down. So someone else in the Calgary receiving corps has got to step up. Michel certainly capable.
Jake Mayer 6 of 8 for 122 yards. Through an interception, though, when his team had a 7-0 lead. Mayer gets it to Begelton this time. Begelton trying to find some space. Got a couple of extra yards after contact there. Gary Peters came in and delivered a bit of a blow.
What a season for Reggie Begelton, especially when you consider the guys that Calgary lost this year. They lost Clark Barnes early. Malik Henry was going to be their big play receiver. Markeith Ambles was in the lineup and then out for a while and has now moved on. And so every time they lost a guy, they leaned on Reggie Begelton that much more.
Forced 18 missed tackles this season to Begelton, third most among receivers in the Canadian Football League. Mayer has Begelton over the middle, goes to him, and he's got it at the 40. Sales eventually hangs on to him and wraps him up. But Reggie Begelton has been activated here late in the second quarter. Not a bad idea if you need to get the offense in high gear to go to Reggie Begelton. And he delivers once again.
Hey guys, you were right. I don't really like the kids' table back here. I'm definitely coming back to the main panel.
Kidding.
Sorry, guys.
Eat your vegetables.
It's been fun.
Kate's definitely a main desker. That's where she belongs to be, running the show with that crew for sure. First and 10 for the BC 39. Mayer fakes it to his right, dumps it out. Look at this! Big fella hauls it in. Wow! How about Bryce Bell? And he's got the first down, Selly too. Gotta love it.
They go uneven. And over here at the right is basically your tight end in Bryce Bell. He would have had to have reported to the officials, which I'm sure he did, to execute this play, but you don't think to cover a tackle.
Watch this, he makes the guy miss. Watch him put on the brakes right here. Boop, see you later.
Nice.
Oh. Mayer taking a shot towards the end zone. Aguna Banu, no. Falls incomplete. Never really had a crack at it working against TJ Lee.
Took a shot. Dave Dickinson told us this week that they need to get a big play or two out of Luther Akunavanu. I think he's definitely capable of it. And they're going to take some shots to their big wide receiver out of York University.
Yeah, 6'4". Like to get him in some of those one-on-one spots. This one would have been against 5'9" TJ Lee, but second down here. And do they look to Reggie Begelton? Once again, time for the lead and second down catches. Mayer in trouble, scrambling around. Kadeem Carey can't haul it in. Adrian Green was draped all over Kadeem Carey, and that will bring up third down.
Well, pressure busts pipes and pressure trumps coverage because it looked like Reggie Begelton may have been open on this deep post route, but Jake Mayer couldn't step into the throw, and then it just is a scramble situation. Try to get it out of the pocket. He tried to dump it to Carey, but good coverage by Green.
Calgary will have to settle for an attempt at 3 more. Paredes, 34 yards. Smooths that one through, and we've got a 1-possession game at BC Place, but just over 2 minutes left to work for Vernon Adams.
On second down, he's been money. I mean, he has been money all season long. In fact, led the league in a tie with Tim White from Hamilton, who didn't see the ball much in that.
3 targets today for Tim White. Confused us a bit.
That's confusing, but hey, Bagleton, and this is second down, and watch Bagleton here. He's at the top of your screen. He's going to be open early on this. Stop it here. I think Bagleton's got a shot in that matchup right there, and Jake Mayer just couldn't get it out of the holster.
This drive starts on the 40 for the home side, leading 21-13. Adams, Hatcher, midfield. He's held on to by Griffin, but another big pickup for Vernon Adams. That puts him over 200 yards passing here in the first half.
Yeah, and he's looking for more. He's got lots of time here, 2 minutes to go, and final 3 minutes of CFL football, you can get a lot of plays in that time with 20-second huddles, and Vernon Adams calling him on the line.
When he's feeling it like this, there's not many better things to watch from an entertainment perspective around the league. Guns this one away, 45, hauled in by Hollins, spins it ahead, right in front of Cam Judge, and will be just shy of a first down.
Well, you'll hear our coach on the panel at halftime, but our coach will often say you got to get your quarterback in a rhythm. I would suggest that Vernon Adams is in a rhythm in this first half.
This is what the rhythm looks like.
This is what it looks like.
Completed 6 in a row right now. 14 of 18 on the game. And there will have to be some sort of adjustments. You know what we haven't talked about yet? I guess this is how they're doing it. We have not talked much about Judge and Alway so far in this game. And those are the 2 big difference makers on this defense for Calgary. Quiet thus far.
And they've been out there in this track meet. They're all both breathing hard.
Down to the Calgary 40, just under 90 seconds to play in the half. Adams with time underneath to his running back, Mizell. Right into the middle of Alway and Judge, and he's got another first down for the Lions as they march once again.
Yeah, and Cam Judge, as Farhan mentioned, has been kind of the kryptonite for Vernon Adams at time throughout their careers together, whether it's high school or moving on, and he's got him a couple of times this year. He drops out, but Vernon Adams is such a rhythm and such a groove that he let Cam Judge drop to the outside, and he threw it over the middle where he left.
Calgary's going to bring a little bit of pressure here, and that is batted down. Derek Wiggin in the mix on it.
Boy, they needed that. Calgary needs something. Need a big play to try and keep BC out of the end zone on this drive. Field goal, not terrible going in at half.
No time to catch a breath on this Calgary defense, is there?
Not when you're on the fast track.
W Kyle, short rip, C64 W Bobcat Cali, or under squat link S check. 1-1.
Did you hear that?
I got it all.
You got it?
I know exactly what's happening here. He's going to fake it to one guy and throw it to another. 2nd and 10 on the Calgary 29. Adams. Tight window. He's got Hatcher. What a strike from VA. Hatcher hauls it in. No problem. 4th catch of the game.
Well, listen, we talked about rhythms and you can talk about being in this groove, but this is not coverable. I mean, you're going to play a zone. You got Cam Judge sitting on one side of it, and Micah Alway, who we just mentioned, on the inside, and he threads the needle, puts it right between the 2 all-star linebackers, and right to Hatcher.
Right at the heart of the defense. Adams, Hatcher again. This time he's wrapped up immediately. Nowhere to go. That was the safety, Nick Taylor, making the play.
Big play right here. 2nd down and goal. And Calgary knows it too. Quick look. Brent Monson, the defensive coordinator. Often down inside the 10-yard line, you're going full blitz and leaving your secondary in one-on-ones.
Got to have somebody step up and make a play here if you're the Stampeders. Hatcher already over 100 yards in this game. Katoy will slide into the slot to the left of Adams. Looks to the right, throws to the right, touchdown! It's Keon Hatcher picking apart the Calgary Stampeders again. And Vernon Adams has 2 in the air and 2 on the ground.
Vernon Adams knew it too, that down in this part of the field, he's going to see blitz and man-to-man coverage. And if you got man-to-man coverage and you got Hatcher on an out route, you have to protect as a DB. The inside route is the easier throw, like a slant or a dig route inside. So you can't fault Colby Williams. He's got to play inside position, but against Hatcher and the speed cut, pressure couldn't get there. Touchdown BC.
Vernon Adams is on pace for more than 500 yards in this game, 261 in the first half, and the Lions have been slicing through the Calgary Stampeders defense like a warm knife through butter here.
Well, he's just on. I mean, whether it's threading the needle in a zone look or beating man-to-man and beating the blitz by getting the ball out of his hands, Vernon Adams has got the answer.
Outstanding stuff.
There's Cam Judge
Adams
coming off the edge on the blitz. Threw it before he got there.
Hatcher has 6 catches for 106 yards and a touchdown. And he basically did the same thing last year. How about this for a day? This is back to the 2022 Western Semi. 8 for 162 and a touchdown.
Nathan Rourke, starting quarterback in that game. We all from Canada follow Nathan down south, and Vernon Adams. That's a good half of football from the quarterback position that you're going to see.
Well, last year in this game, Nathan Rourke, 321 yards and 2 touchdowns. Adams is at 261 and 2 touchdowns in the first half.
And has run 2.
And has had 2 rushing touchdowns as well. All-time half for Vernon Adams. Logan trying to change things. Not going to happen. Just outside the 30 with 12 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, and that major is big too, because it throws a whole bunch of self-doubt right into the minds of the Calgary Stampeder football team as they go in at halftime. Dave Dickinson's going to have to make some adjustments against the passing game of Vernon Adams, clearly on defense.
Calgary led this game 7-0 less than 2 minutes in. Since then, it's a 28-6 advantage for BC, and Calgary having to settle for a couple of field goals, especially on that last one, because not only you settle for the field goal, but you gave BC the ball back with enough time to march the field. Mayer steps up, has a ton of time. Quick completion just outside the 40. 6 seconds on the clock.
Well, with 12 seconds, that's a risky throw from Jake Mayer, but again, you don't want any regrets. You see it, you're behind on the scoreboard now, so take a few more risks throwing it across the middle. If he takes a shot here and can get out of bounds, maybe he can set up a field goal before we run out of time in the half.
Not going to be the play in case that clock ticks down.
Oh, they're done now.
To 0.
Unless there's a penalty.
Always a factor.
Yeah.
They're just going to hand it off to Kadeem Carey. That will do it for the opening half, as Calgary will head into the room trailing by 15, and yet to find a way to slow down this guy.
I don't know how you slow him down. They tried pressure. They tried zone looks. Vernon Adams has been knifing the ball in there. I mean, great poise in the pocket. 2 rushing touchdowns, too. Wow.
Vernon Adams standing by with Farhan Lalji.
Vernon, I know you keep receipts. That was quite the statement. Have you ever felt that comfortable in a
13 all-star linebacker Micah Always with Farhan Lalji.
Micah, when Vernon Adams plays like that, how tough is he to handle?
Oh, he's real tough, man. It's the CFL. He has a huge field to do whatever he wants. He's a great athlete. He's a great passer. It's the reason why he's VA. He's a big play VA, and he's doing a great job right now.
They seem to be having some success with tempo. What can you guys do to adjust?
We just got to do our job. We've been here before. We've done this many times. I've done this many times. All of us have been doing this many times. It's playoffs, but it doesn't really matter. It's just another game.
Thanks, Micah.
Yeah, thank you.
28-13, BC leading. Lots of time left in this football game, though, Glenn.
Absolutely. Absolutely lots of time. And, you know, if Mike Alway can create a turnover or 2, but You know what he said at halftime isn't surprising to Alway, who's been in the league for a few years now. And when he sees Vernon Adams, big play VA, on point like this and spreading the ball around like he is, yeah, wide field, 65 yards wide. He's really having his way with the Calgary Stampeders right now. And a lot of what he's done, not defendable.
Not that the Lions need any more help, but they're going to get the ball to start the second half as well. Leading by 15. Williams just inside the 15, takes it back to the 30, cuts it in, found a little bit of space, and eventually is tracked down just outside the 40 by Nick Stetz.
Well, it doesn't matter what Calgary did in that first half. They went with some three-man pressure, and Vernon Adams got the ball out really quickly on a lot of the hot routes and quick in and out routes, the digs across the middle. This is a quick out to Dominic Grimes. If they went man, he would move the pocket, use his legs, and then get the double moves. Hatcher got involved in that second quarter in a big way. Again, fitting it into small windows and getting it done in that first half.
Starts here on his own 42. They'll move him to the right. Mizell wide open, finds his running back, turns it upfield, and that should be a BC first down to start the second half.
Just a quick push to the flat. No hesitation here from Mizell. Success on first down. Settle in, get your offense going. Vernon Adams takes it.
Third catch of the game for the running back. This time they'll move Mizell out to the top of your screen. Empty backfield for Adams. Three-man pressure over the middle. That's a tight window. Ball pops out. They're going to let him play, and it's scooped up by Calgary, and they take over at midfield.
Lots of football to be played, and when you have linebackers like Mike Alway and Cam Judge, they can completely create some turnovers, change the momentum in a hurry, and it's Mike Alway that gets his arm in there.
Like a Darius Taylor in as well, and they take it away from McInnes.
Before he was down by contact, it looks like that was a clean fumble.
The previous play is under review as a change of possession.
So they're going to look at it. Are they saying it was an incomplete pass?
That's what they got to look at.
Kind of looked like McInnes had pretty good grasp of it, though, didn't it?
Was it incomplete and ripped out before control was gained by McInnes, or did he have control and then it was ripped out and a fumble turnover? And also, was he down by contact? So McInnes sits down, look at three defenders right beside him. Alway goes over the top. I mean,
he definitely wasn't down by contact, right?
Nope, wasn't down by contact.
Both offenses are on the field right now staring at each other. It's actually quite comical to see. Let's find out the official ruling here.
Upon review by the command center, the ruling on the field stands. First down, Calgary.
A round of boos raining down at BC Place, but you couldn't ask for a better start for a Calgary team down 15.
Yeah, and I think they got the call right. I mean, you know, McInnes had it in his belly with his arms wrapped around it, backed up, and then turned. And as he was turning, the ball was ripped out by Alway. So command center said he had control, and that was a fumble.
First half turned on a Mare interception that kind of opened the door. We'll see if the second half does the same. Kadeem Carey finds an open door, and he takes it all the way down just shy of the 30. And boy, when he gets that motor going, he's tough to slow down.
The Lions, to try and stop the run, are going to try and crash down with their D-line. They're going to try and take away the inside gaps, and this time with the pulling guard coming around the outside. I think it was Ryan Sevior that got the lead block to open it up for Carey. He gets into the secondary now. Watch out, he can go.
20-yard rumble for Kadeem Carey. First and 10 from the BC 30. Mare with time dumps it off to Kadeem Carey, and he's wrapped up immediately absolutely nowhere to go. It was Josh Woods. Once again, let's send it down to Farhan Lalji.
Yeah, guys, Ben Haladik, you saw the injury earlier. He will not be back in the second half of this game. They thought they could get him going at halftime, but it didn't necessarily work out. So expect to see more of Ryder Varga as the rotational linebacker. The Lions have the three. They've got Bolacombo who can go back in right away, but Varga should have some bit of a role in this half as well here.
University of Regina Ram, third-round pick back in 2022.
Team leading 7th tackle of the game for Woods. Nobody else has more than 3. 5-man pressure from BC. Mayer gets it away down the field to the end zone. Incomplete. Hakuna Vanu. He got turned around, didn't he? And it drops in there incomplete.
Yeah, when he turned, his momentum took him outside. You know, if he looks over his inside shoulder, he might have a shot at this ball. I think that's what Jake Mayer saw too. A little bit of a long strider, so he's got Mike Jones in a trail position. But you see how when he turned to his left, he drifted towards the sideline and then lost the angle, and Mayer's not happy about it.
As opposed to just a peek
exactly
over the shoulder, right? So we'll have to settle for 3 more from Paredes, and he tucks it in that right upright. Another opportunity missed for the Stampeders. Your thirst presented by Twisted Tea. First tackle of the game. Oh, she was a big one, wasn't she?
Josh Archibald on the opening kickoff cover team for the Lions set the tone early.
Tackle your thirst with Twisted Tea. Calgary would end up scoring on that opening drive and have not been able to find the end zone since. Certainly hanging around, though, trailing 28-16. They could use another big play from their defense. Adams with 4 receivers out to the right. On the run, goes over the middle, and that falls incomplete. Was looking for Hatcher, who had a monster first half, but that'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Well, Dave Dickinson gets the first 3 points of the second half. That takes a little momentum away, and he's got his defense in a situation now in 2nd and long. A lot of different things you can do defensively. Brent Monson upstairs. See, Mike Alway can create another one.
Alway and Judge each with 3 tackles in this ball game. BC is 9 for 10 on 2nd down thus far here. Late in the afternoon, Adams, all the time in the world, dumps it off to Mizell, but it's over his head and falls incomplete. Good coverage downfield, and VA eventually went to the running back. Couldn't hit him.
Boy, it can change. Momentum can change so quickly in a football game. All it takes is maybe a big hit or great special teams play or a strip, fumble, and 3 points, and all of a sudden, number 3 looks like a mere mortal, because in the first half it was superhero type stuff.
Flintoff's kick bounces at the 40 and then trickles out of bounds. No return there for Peyton Logan. Jake Mayer with the sack title. And you have to actually dial it back about 15 years for another BC Lions defensive end. And he had quite the season, didn't he?
Well, yeah, I mean, a 6-point spread or 6-sack spread there for Matthew Betts this year. And it was back in 2008 when Cam Wake, former BC Lion, that's blowing away the field. Then you're 23 sacks on the season, and the next closest is 11.
And it's a teammate. Here's Kadeem Carey. And he's held onto for dear life there by TJ Lee. He was not going to let him get away.
But Matthew Betts, what a great season, leading the league in sacks with 18, but also setting the Canadian mark. That was held by Brent Johnson, who was 2nd on that list back in 06, 17.
2nd and 2 from their own 50. Is it back to Kadeem Carey? They fake it. Play action for Mayer over the middle, and he's got Hakuna Vanu this time. He hangs on down to the 40, and the Stampeders trying to find some momentum offensively.
That's a big catch for Luther Akunavanu, just for his confidence after Jake Mayer went deep. I saw the two of them talking on the sideline, and good for Jake Mayer to go right back to him. Dragging crossing route across the field, tough to cover in man-to-man, to chase him all the way across at a 22-yard gain, but a confidence boost for 81.
Jake Mayer closing in on 200 yards passing in this game. Up to the BC 38. Back into the belly of Carey. And he will bully his way up to about the 35 for a pickup of 3 yards, and it'll be 2nd and 7. And Kadeem Carey will check out of the game for Peyton Logan.
Yeah, Lions making substitution on 2nd and long too. Matthew Betts coming on the field along with Woody Barron. And they bring Varga, a couple of the bigger boys, off in this passing situation.
Menard in there as well. They'll be on the left side of that BC defense. 2nd and 7. Huge down here for Jake Mayer. Early movement. Mayer takes it off himself. Ball knocked out, picked up by Woods, and now he's going to turn it back upfield the other way. But remember, flags on the play earlier.
Who moved first?
Let's sort this out. Kind of a big one here.
Who moved first? Was it offside defense or procedure on offense?
Offside. BC, number 93. 5-yard penalty. It will be 2nd down.
There he is right off the edge, but I think it was Menard. They got the wrong number. Menard on the inside looked like he was earlier than Sadiq off the edge. Either way, early movement from the defensive line for the Lions. Second shot, 2nd and short.
See if Calgary can make the most of this. Out into the flat market, Michelle, and he's ripped up immediately. What a game that Josh Woods is putting together. 8th tackle.
Josh Woods plays this technically perfectly. He's going to be on the edge right here. He's going to secure the edge here and then react after the play to the throw. So he secures the edge. He doesn't let the tackle or the guard get out on him. That was Joshua Coker. Doesn't let him get there to him, and then closes quickly on Michelle.
Interesting play call when you've got Kadeem Carey running the ball the way that he has so far in a 2nd and 2. Paredes knocks it through, and we have a 9-point ball game at BC Place. Woods, Cam Judge, teammates at UCLA.
Yeah, back playing in the same position. Got to know each other really well, and both are similar athletes. Tough enough to play the run in the box, but can cover any receiver on the field.
Woods has 8 tackles already in this game. Judge has 3. 1st and 10 for BC. From their own 40, Adams with time over the middle. Katoy, he's got it, and he'll be close to a 1st down. Here's Judge talking about the relationship and the history with Woods.
We go back to our days in college. We played 2 years at UCLA together, like you said, playing the same position, you know, so we got pretty close during our time there. Our whole linebacker room was, so, you know, it makes me proud when I see him out there. And we actually had our first matchup last week, D-Safe versus Punt. That was the first time going against him since probably practice back in college, so, you know, it was fun.
Different paths along the way, but they find themselves here at BC Place tonight.
Yeah, Josh Woods, boy, he had some injuries coming through college at UCLA too, and had to fight through a lot of adversity in his journey to get here, and gets the start in the semifinal matchup.
Well, I'm putting up one of his best efforts of the season thus far. He had actually scooped up that fumble that came back due to a penalty anyway. 1st and 10 from the BC 52. Adams pressured, steps up in the pocket, first down inside the 45. Flag on the play. It's coming back, a hold against the BC Lions.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be, I mean, whenever a quarterback, and certainly Vernon Adams Jr. has done this a few times.
Holding BC number 65. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
And he's done it well, is to extend the play. The problem with it is when you extend the play, you're putting your offensive line in the one-on-ones a little bit longer. And Suk Chung on the top of your screen there, he's going to go around the horn. It was Eddie Emma Berglund, and just a little bit of a tug on the shoulder.
Just on the shoulder there, hey?
I would call that one marginal, but the official had a better look at it than I did from up here.
1st and 20. They're in this spot earlier in the game, and they hit Rhymes for 23. Can Adams do it again? Up in the pocket, takes off of the run. Nice move, midfield, still going. Vernon Adams has done it all himself. The VA show continues at BC Place.
Oh, my goodness. I didn't know Vernon Adams was that fast. I mean, watch the open field running ability of Vernon Adams Jr. right here. It looked like he was caught. That's Mike Alway. Mike Alway had 134 defensive tackles this season, set a franchise record.
Wow, 24 yards when he needed 20. And now back on the ground to Mizell. Two rushing touchdowns to go along with 39 yards on the ground and almost 300 in the air.
He made a couple people miss in the open field, and it's hard to coach against that. Sometimes you just win. Sometimes the other guy just wins.
Real backbreaker for Calgary's defense, thinking they might be able to get off the field with that 20 yards lurking. Now Adams, quick fake down the field for Hatcher, drops it in there beautifully. That'll put him over 300 yards passing in the ball game. You just can't do it much better.
Pinpoint accuracy. I'll tell you what, that's a pinpoint accurate throw to Hatcher right there in the slot. Remember early in the first quarter, he said plant the seed because they're going to try and push the ball deep after these short routes in the first quarter. There's that corner route to Hatcher.
Back inside the red zone again. 4 touchdowns already in this game. Adams pitches it out. Mizell to the 10, Judge is there, and he will wrap him up.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's an example of just the type of season that Cam Judge has had. Cam Judge plays the pitch, plays the quarterback run, and then gets to Mizell before any of his help gets there, and Alway and the rest of the troops coming in. But that's the versatility and athleticism from number 4.
2-yard pickup, 2nd and 8. Adams looks to his left, bounces it out to the right, scrambling around, not towards the end zone, too high. Gunned it in there for Hollins, just missed him, and they'll trot out Sean White for a field goal attempt.
Negotiating the pocket, managing the pocket, just 3-man pressure, so he knows he's got some time. He's just got to find that hole. Hollins was there. Just a little bit over stride, but the quickness and speed of Vernon Adams, he is 100% healthy.
Yeah, he's pretty mobile in that situation. Wow. Jumping around like that. Sean White, first field goal of the day. BC now 4 for 5 on trips inside the red zone. We'll have more on Matthew Betts from Farhad when we return to Vancouver.
Timo Debaye, who's from Belgium. The guy on the other side, David Menard. Bowman himself can speak French, or certainly understands it very well. He says there are times when they joke in French in the room, and when they get to the line, he and Menard occasionally will communicate in French. They can't do it against Montreal because their O-linemen might pick it up. They wanted to make sure there were no offensive linemen for Calgary that could speak French, so they feel pretty good about that. As for Johnson, the two are quite similar. Very, very low key, but once they get between the lines, the flip, or the switch, gets flipped.
Well, I don't know how you say very sneaky in French, but that's what it sounds like, as this one will go incomplete. Looking for marketer Shell.
Yeah, that could get under your skin if you know one of those two started trash talking in French. And not only were they trash talking, but you don't know exactly what they're saying.
What are you saying to me? What's worse, knowing what the chirp is or not understanding what the chirp is?
University of Montreal and Laval, two great football players, will rotate in. Menard will rotate in for Betts when he takes a rest.
2nd and 10 for Mayer. Trailing by a dozen. Lions are going to bring some heat. Mayer in trouble! Hammered! Ball pops out. Looked like it was a forward pass. Waiting for a ruling from the officials.
Boy, there was an interior pass rush. Didn't catch the number. But it did look like to me that Mayer's arm was going forward when this ball came out. We'll take another look at it here.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I don't think there's any question that that was an incomplete pass. His arm was moving forward. Ball came out of his hands, but that pocket collapsed quickly.
he was under fire on that one.
Upon review by the command center, it is an incomplete pass.
So it'll be 3rd down and 10, and Cody Grace will trot out to kick this ball back to Terry Williams and the BC Lions with just over 2 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Is it just me, or has Terry Williams been close? He's been close here in this early evening of the West semifinal.
You're waiting for him to break one, are you?
Well, I'm just saying, he's been close. He's been on 2 returns I've seen in the first half. I'm talking 1 guy away.
Well, I will most certainly lose my mind if he does. Calgary stalls out here. Good defense by BC, forces them to kick it away. Williams takes it at the 30. Made 1-man miss. Not this time, as they block him down around the 35. And Brent Johnson is in the house.
86 career quarterback sacks, most by any Canadian all time. Had the year in 06 with 17. That record is the record that Matthew Betts passed this year and now holds. And I'll say this about Brent Johnson too. He did for Canadians as a defensive end, a rush end, pure rush end, what Nathan Rourke has done for Canadians at the quarterback position.
I can go out and do that, right?
You can find him.
Speaking of finding somebody, a big one to Hatcher, makes a move, takes it down just outside the 30. And that'll put Hatcher well over 160 yards receiving in this game.
How about if you're Addie M. Berglund and you're trying to figure out which way to track down number 3? First of all, he sidearm slings it to Hatcher, who does the rest of the heavy lifting down the field. A 44-yard gain for 4.
Hatcher might go over 200 in this game. Adams, Hollins catches it at the 30, And is gang tackled by the Stampeders at the 25. Nobody averages more receiving yards per game than this guy, Keon Hatcher.
Yeah, you can look at the totals, and sometimes you'll see a guy that has missed a game or two, then that can affect his overall total on the year. But what you can truly measure to see who was the top receivers in the league is the average yards per game. And Keon Hatcher, #1 in that category.
180 yards receiving in the spotlight of a playoff game. 2nd and 5 from the Calgary 26. BC looking for some more as time ticks down in the 3rd quarter. Adams dumps it off. Mizell waiting and takes it inside the 20 before they stop him. 1st down, BC Lions. Vernon Adams Jr. creeping his way towards a possible 400-yard playoff game. Calgary desperately trying to hang around in Vancouver.
Now they're going to need to create a couple of turnovers. You got to believe that. Plus, it takes the running game out of it. It doesn't mean you can't get the ball to Kadeem Carey or maybe a Peyton Logan who has that great speed in the open field. But as you know, Dustin, we've done enough games together. A quarter of football in the CFL is a lifetime. So there is lots of time for the Calgary Stampeders to try and make a comeback. It starts with a stop here and holding the Lions to just a field goal.
Best case scenario for Calgary would be a turnover. Second, I guess Sean White coming out for 3. Then they got to get the offense going. 6th trip to the red zone here for the Lions so far in this game.
Bagleton, Kunavanu, Michelle. Big chunks when you get the ball.
Vernon Adams, 1st and 10 from the Calgary 17. Wants to move quickly. End zone for Hollins. A tad too high. And it falls incomplete.
Pretty well covered there by Jonathan Moxey. I would just suggest to Moxey that the little push at the end of this, you don't want to mess around and give the BC Lions any free yards. Both teams, knock on wood, been very disciplined in this game. We haven't seen a whole lot of penalties.
First half was a track meet.
Great coverage by Moxey. It's a big down.
We'll do it again. 2nd and 10. Adams quickly to Catoy, and he's got it. And that will be enough for a BC 1st down. 6th catch of the game for Catoy.
Yeah, Javon Catoy knew exactly where the sticks were. Where's the sticks? I'm going to turn and then fall to them. He didn't know where the pressure or the tackle was going to come from. Didn't want to lose the handle, so got to the sticks and went down.
1st and goal from the 5. Mizell trying to pick his way towards the end zone. He'll jump on his back and take him down. Just short.
Well, this is Mike Holloway time. If they're going to get the stop they need to hold the Lions to a field goal attempt, the middle linebacker's got to create something here.
2nd and goal. Adams stays in the game, trying to push ahead towards the end zone, and he's in. Hat trick of touchdowns for Vernon Adams Jr. and BC opens it back up.
Jr. just methodically on this goal line, quarterback sneak. Just be patient, keep pushing. Big guys up front will get the leverage they need. Alway gets dragged into the end zone by an offensive lineman and Vernon Adams Jr.
7 plays, 75 more yards added to the total in just over 3 minutes. Possible backbreaker for the Calgary Stampeders. Sean White doubles him up. They lead by 19, courtesy number 3. What a night. Code technology, you know, it blows my mind. Calgary has no time to waste. They got to get the offense not just going, but stop settling for these field goals. High kick. Logan takes it at the 21. Maybe he can make something happen. Peyton Logan. Oh boy. Look out. Heavy collision. They will call for the trainers immediately. Jack Hinsberger hitting Logan.
Oh, man.
And that did not look good. Both players down on the field. Oh, boy.
Holy fuck.
Logan with speed. Hinsberger delivers a heavy blow. Hinsberger may have been out on contact. They will take a look. Situation that we don't want to have to deal with, but heavy collision on a return, and the medical team is still out on the field. And they continue to work. Jack Hinsberger is down. 24-year-old out of the University of Waterloo, and they continue to work on him.
And almost
Logan is down too.
Yeah, they are
both
looking
players.
at both of them, and you know, both teams obviously very concerned here. And it didn't look like Hinsberger saw Logan until it was too late. It was like, you often on the kickoff cover team, you will break down to make sure you don't miss the tackle, and it just didn't look like they saw each other until the very last second. But
extremely emotional moment here.
We'll give you one more look,
Vancouver.
and then we'll just. Yeah, he got pushed into it too, so there was some pressure from behind him on the push, and then they collided, and they're going to make sure that
both guys are down still. Logan looks like he may be up a little bit. The card has been brought out, and all of the players on both teams have gathered around in what has clearly become an unfortunate situation. Now there's Logan. He is up to a round of applause. Hinsberger, who went down on his stomach, is laying on his back as they continue to tend to him. And Logan walks off the field, and a standing ovation from the crowd here for both of these players. Hinsberger from Waterloo. Did he just stand up? He just stood up. And that'll just send shivers down your spine. Hinsberger appears to be okay and is up and with help walking off the field. Wow.
Well, that's why you do all the training. That's why you
Right people in place.
Yeah, well, you do all the training in the offseason. You're working on the weights, and you're working on your conditioning, and you're working on your strength, because that was a collision that you don't see very often. A push in the back, just it was slight, but it was enough to add some more pressure to the contact that was unavoidable. But to have them both walk off is outstanding, and that's all the training pays off right there. And the training staffs, to your point,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
They were out on the field immediately.
There were 6 people there to tend to him.
Yeah, they were there
immediately. And he is now walking off towards the BC Lions dressing room. Logan had exited the field earlier, but both men up and able to walk off under their own strength. Now we reset for the final 13 minutes of a playoff game. Kadeem Carey, that's Woods again. Josh Woods is having himself a night. He's literally all over the football field. That's his 9th tackle of the game.
Yeah, the problem for Calgary is, and I mentioned, you still want to get the ball to Kadeem Carey. He's one of your best players. But if you're running between the tackles, you're Dave Dickinson with 12 minutes to go and you're down 3 possessions, you're going to eat up a lot of clock.
2nd and 4. Bear pressure in his face. Had to move it quickly in the direction of Kadeem Carey. And that'll bring up 3rd down, and Jake Mayer is not going anywhere. 12 minutes in this football game, down by 19. 3rd and 4, and Calgary's offense will stay on the field.
Well, that's part of the answer to that question, because Dave Dickinson ran the ball on 1st down. He did it because he's playing 3-down football from here on in.
Crowd at BC Place looking to get behind this defense to their feet. 3rd and 4. Calgary's simply got to have it. Early movements, multiple flags on the play.
This will help Calgary's cause if it's against the Lions. They're huddling. The officials.
It was close, wasn't it? Calgary's only taken 1 penalty in this game thus far, and this is a long conversation amongst the officials.
Illegal procedure. Calgary, number 60, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Demery, after a discussion, is singled out as the guilty party.
He's the left tackle right here. Thought there was some early movement between those two, but see, does he rock in his stance?
Ooh.
I'll tell you what, I thought maybe Woody Barron on the inside jumped in that neutral zone, but the command center would help the on-field officials in that case, and I'm sure they did.
3rd and 9. Mayer needs a little bit more pressure coming. He's in trouble, and he's taken down. The BC Lions defense gets there. Betts started it. Menard finishes it.
Well, they'll be talking some French here because Betts is going to set up the sack for his buddy and teammate David Menard, because Betts comes off that edge like he's coming out of a cannon around the corner, around Demery, and away he goes. That forces Jake Mayer up into the pocket, and when he steps up there, 56 right there to bring him down. Watch in the sprinter stance him go to work. And there's a David Menard patent celebration.
3 sacks in the regular season, a big one here. Back on the ground to Mizell, and he is scooped up by Griffin, and that'll bring up 2nd and long after a loss of a couple on 1st down. Quiet night for Mizell. They haven't needed much from him. Vernon Adams has been excellent on the ground and clearly extremely efficient through the air. He's 13 yards away from a 400-yard playoff game. 2nd and 13 here. 1st down would put him at 400. Moves it quickly. Hollins, a bubble, and it falls incomplete. Wouldn't have been enough for the 1st down, but Sean White will trot out here to go to work again.
And put Hollins and Keon Hatcher together on that side of the field, and yeah, it looked like it just sort of high throw that, not a high throw, not too high of a throw, but a throw that kind of hit him in the side of the helmet, I think, and then he juggled it and couldn't pull it in time because he was running out of real estate.
Sean White with one of the most accurate seasons in CFL history this year. That 94.3% special teams nod out of the West. This one from 30. Steady as she goes. Knocks it through. Lions on top. 41-19. This is a little bit of a tasty play call, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. First half, first down. This is a second down conversion by Bryce Bell. You know, when the offensive line put down on the chart how much they weigh coming into training camp, I always add about 15 to 20. So Bryce showed some quick feet. He put down 315. I'm going to add 10. Say he's 325 if he's an ounce.
Loads of taste for Tim Hortons, which is what I had for breakfast earlier today. Nice. Jake Mayer gets it away quickly. It's Begelton. Rugumba's all over. Breaks that tackle. Trying to get by Peters. And eventually, of course, who else? Woods comes over to help finish him off.
Yeah, you will not get a playoff from Reggie Begelton, and Josh Woods is having himself a game. I mean, that's his 10th tackle on defense. Plus, I showed you a couple times where he took two responsibilities, hardened the edge, and then also reacted to the screen pass.
That was one of the biggest tackles of the game.
Yeah.
They made earlier. Mayer gets it away again. This one complete. Odoms Dukes. He's got some room to take it down inside the 40. Now to the 30. They'll hang on to him for dear life and track him down. His first catch of the game is a big one. Takes them inside the 20.
Jake Mayer gets it out there, and he gets it out there on the spot. I mean, 86 on the speed cut, and as he comes out of his break, TJ Lee's recovering, turns up on it along the sideline. Look at Adrian Green getting a chance to start at free safety in the playoffs for the BC Lions out of St. Mary's University. As he comes up with a touchdown saving tackle there.
Timeout, Calgary.
Green pulling himself back up by the shirt of Odoms Dukes, and now a timeout called by the Calgary Stampeders with just under 9 minutes remaining in the game. By any means, right? By all means necessary.
4th round draft pick. It was a good draft year for the BC Lions that year. They got Varga, Nathan Cherry, who was injured earlier, Archibald, who we saw make the big hit, and then Adrian Green out of St. Mary's University earned the start. Rick Campbell telling us he's more of a true DB for that free safety position. Quincy Moget has played
here too, and then they've moved him in there. Yeah, Moget kind of slides back and forth, right?
Exactly.
1st and 10 from the BC 19, fresh out of a timeout. And whistles here.
Illegal procedure.
Oh boy.
Calgary number 60. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's Demering again.
Yeah, interesting time for Dave Dickinson to call the timeout in the first place, and then coming out of a timeout to get a procedure call. That a little bit like their season has gone in a lot of ways. You know, a big play and then one little mistake here or there. They went down to the final 3 minutes in 9 games this year. Only won 4 of them.
1st and 15. Kadeem Carey. Wrapped up. It's Woods again.
Number 11.
Doing his best to steal the headlines away from Vernon Adams tonight. Woods is literally everywhere you look.
Yeah, I mentioned his journey and how much adversity he's had to work through going through his time at UCLA, and as a freshman he injured his hamstring. Look at this.
2nd and 21, looking for Markin Michelle. Incomplete. Trying to drop it in over the shoulder of Gary Peters, and all you can say is good luck with that, with the year that he had.
Well, he thought, I was saying Jake Mayer here, thought he had Michelle with a chance after he breaks the pocket, but boy, he's got a lot of room to run here. He could have followed right in behind Gary Peters and maybe got inside the 10.
Third and 21. I like Betts had his hands up like, what are we doing? You know what you're doing.
You know what you're doing.
Go get the quarterback. Mayer steps up, heaves it towards the end zone, and it's hauled in. Spectacular stuff. Cole Tucker, the rookie, gives Calgary a glimmer of hope.
Number 66.
Oh,
10-yard penalty. Will replay third down.
Coming back on a holding call. Either way, excellent effort from the rookie.
Yeah, inside move here. There's Bryce Bell, number 66. I believe it's, you take a look at the pass rush coming from high up inside, an inside pass rush. And there's the grab on the shoulder pad.
So it's third and about 1 million. So they will come out and kick it. Paredes. Not the line you wanted to see if you're a Calgary fan. This is his 5th field goal of the game. Settling way too much for the 3. Let's dive in to your Coors Light moment of chill. This is 5 hours before the game.
All by himself on the turf. No teammates here yet. Going through every one of his play calls and doing it sort of mentally first, what it might look like. And boy, was he on point in that first half for sure.
Looked like he was out there in those new orange Nikes that Amar Dolman picked up for the team. Did you see the kicks there?
I love that. You know, again, MVP of the season, Amar Dolman, what he's done here with the BC Lions.
I saw him prior to the game. I asked him if he had a set of shoes for the broadcast crew, and he does not this year.
Well,
the warning has been sent.
Coming into a big playoff game, he got the group together, and he had the pair for Vernon Adams Jr. And what he did is that he must have called Nike because they were all custom made with their name and number on them. And he gave it to Vernon, and the rest of the players, of course, were real happy. And then he said, and by the way, you all got a pair in your locker. So they just went nuts.
Surprise.
It might seem like a small thing to buy a pair of shoes for your team, but it adds up, and those things matter.
Adams takes off on the run again. Give him a first down. And a little bit more all the way up to midfield. 14 more yards for Vernon Adams, who's just having his way with the Calgary Stampeders.
Yeah, and I've seen him run as well or better than I've seen him in his entire career. How quick he has been, smart on the decisions downfield, the hook slide. One guy we haven't talked much about is Mike Rose. He was in chase on that last play, and we haven't mentioned him in this game.
11 sacks on the season, puts him top 10 in a year for the Calgary Stampeders, but Lions offensive line have done a pretty decent job against Rose. BC.
Fairness to Dave Dickinson on his defense. When he lost James Vaughters, he had to really kind of move guys around and start juggle the D-line a little bit. And Mike Rose has played both D-end and the interior. That's his natural position to play inside a tackle. But a lot of injuries, which he never used as excuses. John Huffnagel in attendance, who's the architect going back to 2008. And then hand over the GM duties to Dave Dickinson this year. They were hit hard in the receiving core and lost some key people.
Back into the belly of Mizell, maybe a yard right up the middle.
Winner of this, of course, goes to the West Final in Winnipeg, and I understand that there are 29,000 seats sold for that game, and that would mean that there are still some seats available.
Not for long.
So,
not for long.
I'll tell you what, snap those up quickly.
You might have a couple thousand of those gobbled up by fans at this game tonight after seeing how the Lions have looked. Ready to head back to IG Field for what should just be a spectacular game. Adams, give him 400 yards passing in the ball game.
Calgary just saying, hey, let's just cut everybody
Calgary,
loose here.
This is their final timeout.
They send Brandon Dozier up the middle, and Mizell picks that up nicely. Gives Vernon Adams a chance to get it out there.
Dynamic duel here, VA and Hatcher.
You think Vernon Adams Jr. just said to Hatcher?
Set the game clock to read 4 minutes and 55 seconds.
I think he walked.
4:55.
He walked up to him right there and said, "You're really good."
Well, I mean, if you describe 9 catches for 195 yards and a touchdown as really good.
And Hatcher turned to Vernon Adams Jr. and said, "You are too, my friend." Put on a show today.
5 yards away from 200 for Hatcher. He'll line up at the bottom of your screen, working against Roberson. 1st and 10 from the Calgary 40. Just shy of 5 minutes left here. Adams in trouble, and he is taken down. It is Cam Judge getting home for the first time today.
That's upsetting for Vernon Adams because he just hesitated a little bit. Judge hides in the line. He does this very well. And see how he's low, so he gets out of the sight line of Vernon Adams, and he doesn't see him until it's too late. That's the quickness of Judge off the edge. And I know there's probably a few Lions fans thinking, is it time for number 3 to get out? Put Dane Evans in to finish this one off.
Yeah, maybe. Adams dumps it off. Mizell turns it upfield. A block or two will get to the 40. And that will bring up 3rd down. And Sean White will come back out there. 400-yard playoff game for Vernon Adams. We have not seen that since Trevor Harris in 2017 with Ottawa. That's the type of night it's been so far.
Well, he just was on fire in the first half. I mean, the panel mentioned it. I think we've mentioned it in the first half, too. I have to go back to sort of the run by Darian Durant 2013 to think of a quarterback that in the playoffs put together a performance and a half like Vernon Adams did in the first half.
Sean White from 47. And he misses it. Michelle bobbles it. Brings it back out. Made a couple of Lions miss, but they'll get him before he gets it back to the 10. A very rare miss from Sean White.
Yeah, and one that I don't know how this will affect his overall percentage this season. He's 94.3, as you mentioned. I believe that ties a BC Lion franchise record.
Well, and that's regular season locked in already, right?
Yeah, so locked in at 94.3, and that was Paul McCallum back in 2011. But overall, just we're always shocked when Sean White misses. It happens a couple of times a year, but it's like, what?
Well, both of these.
He's been great. It's what a rise to stardom in the OC, and maybe a guy that is due for an interview or two if there's some vacancies, and there's already one.
Starts to kind of get himself on the radar, doesn't he? Mayer, ton of time, and that is broken up by TJ Lee. He's been doing that for about a decade with the BC Lions. That takes us inside 3 minutes as the BC Lions full control, leading 41-22. Josh Woods in the defense, back out there. Jake Mayer throwing. Begelton's got it, cuts inside on Woods. He's got a first down, and Begelton takes it outside the 25. And Reggie Begelton doing what you would have expected of him today. He's caught almost every ball thrown in his direction for 80 yards so far.
1,000-yard guy, no quit in 84, that's for sure.
There, Kadeem Carey's got some space, and he'll have a first down all the way up to the 45. As Calgary will just keep this ball moving. BC
Well, they're going to back off a little bit. I mean, they're going to still play their defenses because we've seen 3 scores in the final 3 minutes of games in the CFL many times. So still play their D, but
Bear out to his right, back to Beggleton, cuts it back inside, gets down quickly, and will be just shy of a first down. That'll put him over 100 yards receiving in this game. Really the go-to guy in this offense all season long.
Calgary settled for some field goals in scoring range in this game this afternoon.
2nd and inches, Bear in the pocket, under heat, trying to escape. He will not. Taken down by the Lions defense. Marcus Moore gets there.
Marcus Moore getting a chance to be in the lineup because Sione Tehema was not dressed for this game, for the semi, because he's going through a suspension, 1-game suspension for what happened against Calgary a couple weeks ago. So he will be eligible to play. He'll serve his suspension here and then be eligible to play in the West Final. It looks like.
Is there a challenge here? I saw Jake saying, hey, face mask, face mask. Man, no timeouts left on the board for Calgary.
Timer, please reset the game clock to read 1:57. The play is under review for roughing the passer.
Okay, so no challenge allowed from Calgary, but the play will be under review for roughing the passer. Let's take a quick peek.
Yeah, Jake Mayer said there was a face mask.
Well, briefly there was, right?
Well, the hand was on the face mask. I'm not sure Marcus Moore grabbed it. But you're not allowed to hit the quarterback in the head either. Now, did he have the protection of the quarterback in the pocket? Or was he considered a runner where he was on the field? That's what I think the command center is going over right now.
Upon review, there was roughing the passer. BC number 95. The ball was at midfield. We're going to go up 15 yards. Automatic first down.
All right, so command center decision. Roughing the passer. Yeah, and they'll move it ahead 15.
Must have considered that Mayer was still close enough to the pocket protection that quarterbacks get that you can't hit him in the head, whether you grab the mask or not. But he gives him a new set. I'm with Marcus Moore's look there, though. See that look on his face? Like, what?
Are you kidding me? Oh boy, is that Demery again?
Well, you saw a couple times. Now Betts isn't lined up against him here, but you saw a couple times where Matthew Betts was in that 4-point stance, 2 hands like a sprinter stance.
Illegal procedure. Calgary number 60. That penalty's declined. The clock will be on a go.
I think when you're a tackle against that kind of get off the line of scrimmage, and it reminds me of Cam Wayne. As a matter of fact, we showed you those graphics early on, but when you've been dealing with that all game, you get a little jittery. He can come out of his stance so quickly.
3 flags in the second half of this game on Demery. Bear, 4-man pressure on the run to his left. He's going to take off. There's a flag as he runs by it. And he's tracked down from behind around the 30 by Marcus Moore once again.
Not sure where this flag was. It looked like it might have been in the Lions secondary. It was just past the line of scrimmage. And with
illegal contact on receiver. BC number 6. 10-yard penalty. Will replay first down.
Penalty-aided drive for Calgary.
Let's give you another example of that stance. This time Betts goes to the 3-point, just one hand in the ground, but look at his power too. He kind of rocks Bryce Bell, who holds his ground.
brings up and is immediately taken back down. Big pickup there by Mark Michel. Quincy Mauger on the tackle.
I'm not sure how Jake Mayer even saw Michel on this throw. We'll get a good look at it here. We'll see what Mayer sees. He's got a bit of a throwing lane there, but does he look open to you?
Ooh.
Yeah, Jones ran underneath that throw, and he threw it right to the spot.
And we've got more whistles.
Timeout, BC. This is their final timeout.
Have called a timeout just before Calgary snapped that ball, but it's sitting on BC 10. Jake Mayer is at 291 yards, 66% completion percentage, touchdown, and an interception. What do you thought of him in this game?
You know, I don't think they've done, you know, they've played pretty well, but they, you know, in that first half when Vernon Adams was on pace for 500.
Yeah.
And they were up by 2 scores. It completely changes how you have to approach the second half. And, you know, their defense had a couple of opportunities to make stops and hold the Lions to field goals, even though that Vernon Adams had driven. He's had a 9-play 75, 770, 870, and a 775. That's Vernon Adams' drive length.
Third red zone trip of the day for Calgary. Mayer with time. Woods to tackle on Kadeem Carey. 11 in this West semifinal.
Carey to the left of Jake Mayer here. He's going to try and help on a little chip block and then break out to the right side of the formation. Woods tracks him the whole way. Been such a sure tackler. This BC Lion team has been great tacklers all year.
Second and goal from the 10. Mayer out of the pocket on the run to his right, looking towards the end zone. Reggie Begelton lays out, and he's got a touchdown, Calgary. Over 100 yards for Begelton, and a trip to the end zone, and they claw within 13.
Onside kick team will be huddling up on the Calgary Stampeders sideline now. Need to get the ball back. It's a great catch by Begelton.
Go for 2 here, which would get it to 11.
Yeah, then you got a touchdown.
2 more.
2-point convert.
And a field goal.
And a field goal.
So just like that, just do that.
You need 2 onside kick.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah, we gotta throw that in there too.
Drive of 101 yards for Calgary. Likely too little, too late. Mayer will look for 2 more here. Pressured, does drop it in, and that is held onto by Cole Tucker, who had a touchdown taken off the board earlier on a flag, and we've got an 11-point ball game with 1:11 left. Calgary will look to get this thing back.
Mark Killam is the special teams coordinator, so there's a couple of different ways he can try and get the ball back on the onside kick. You've seen the sky ball before, where the ball has to travel 10 yards in the air, and the last guy to tip it, deliberately tip it out of bounds, is the team that gets possession. Coach Benavides, special teams coordinator and our former teammate, his job now is to try to block the guys up front. You can get it to them early, you can distract them and try and keep them away from recovering it, and then you have one of your great receivers, or a couple of them. It might even be Justin McInnes in this case. We'll see who they have to.
Looks like Catoy is going to be going out there.
Catoy would probably be a good choice. Get some height, guys that can win the jump ball. Now, Mark Killam could also look like he's going to the wide sky ball and then just kind of try to kick it forward 10 yards on a roller.
So many options.
Well, 2.
Rhymes and Catoy, as far as hands guys, are out there right now for BC.
So BC stays in the bunch because they could just run to the line of scrimmage out of this huddle, Calgary could, and try to just nub it forward. Now they're going to go for the sky ball because they've loaded up the outside.
Paredes looking to drop one in there. Up for grabs. Held on to it. Brought down. Job's done. Couture goes out and finishes it off.
Kick was 10 yards. It was just a little bit short from Rene Paredes. This is a tough kick to execute. You got to get it 10, and you want to get it as close to the sideline as you can so that one of your guys, like a Kunavanu, can sky forward and tip it out of bounds. That's the ultimate. If you're a little short, it gives the receiving team a chance to recover, but Coach Benavides' boys come through.
Come on, baby, come on.
They will get it on the Calgary 45. Adams hands it to Mizell. And he is stopped there. We are awarding the victory to the BC Lions, which will push them ahead to the Western Final against the Bombers. This can't come quick enough, can it?
No, it can't. And yeah, as I mentioned, there's still a few tickets available there, Winnipeg, so I'm sure you're going to fill the house and make it very difficult for this team on the road. Brady Oliveira against the great receiving core. Coach, the Bombers have a pretty good receiving core on their own. Does Dalton Schoen play? This is still up in the air.
Lots of intrigue heading into a West Final.
They got a good group there. Nick Dembski, Zach Kalaris running the show. I'll tell you what, it'll be a game if Vernon Adams is even half as good as he was in the first half.
He's going to be out there warming up 7 hours before the game, right? Out there by himself getting ready.
Now it's outside. It's in the elements. This is the fast track. This game, having it at home, that's why you fight all through the regular season, because it really favored the Lions with their receiving core and their style of offense. But Brady Oliveira in Winnipeg, different style, different conditions.
Grind it down a little bit.
Yeah, it changes things. What a season for Oliveira. Over 1,500 yards rushing. Finalist for MOP against Chad Kelly in Toronto.
Game clock to read 22 seconds. Time count violation. BC number 11. This is a 10-yard penalty.
I'm sure many in Winnipeg will remember June 22nd when BC went out there and picked up 30-6 victory.
What? Yeah, we're pushing it in.
Adams, for the first time tonight, looks somewhat confused. The rest of the night, he's been absolutely on point. Flintoff kicks this one, and it bounces and then goes out of bounds. Expertly done.
Calgary Stampeders played their best football in the last month, and they had to win 2 games, as I mentioned off the top. They had to beat Saskatchewan. They got it done. They had to come here and beat the BC Lions to get in the playoffs. They got that done. Some will say they backed in. Some will say they didn't deserve to be here. If you're here, you deserve to be here, no matter what the record says. It's how it worked out this year. They had some great players that had all-star type seasons, but I don't know how you stop Vernon Adams in that rhythm he was in the first half.
You don't.
Yeah,
We saw that,
they
right?
couldn't. I mean, it didn't matter what they threw at him. He had an answer for it. And they never relinquished that lead. And Vernon Adams' dad, by the way, is here. We've had trouble finding him. He's enjoying the afternoon, but Vernon Adams Sr.'s here.
Jake Mayer heaves one down the field. And that one intercepted by Marcus Sales. And the BC Lions are going back to Winnipeg for a rematch with the Bombers that ended in a 28-20 Bombers victory in 2022.
They're going to kneel down now. Victory formation as nice jump ball there. Kunavanu trying to rip it out of the hands of Sales. He wins that one.
He didn't have an interception
Yeah.
in the regular season. You were looking at that too.
Exactly.
But he had a great year. He had an excellent year. He had 11 forced incompletions, 7 knockdowns, did not have an interception, but he's got one here in the playoffs.
Same Final Four as a year ago. Montreal will travel to Toronto for the Eastern Final. Apparently that's close to selling out. Let's get that one sold out
That'd be great too.
And the BC Lions heading back to Winnipeg for the West Final.
BC Lions, brilliance the entire game. And are they better suited this year to go in and pull off a victory against Winnipeg?
Yeah, I mean, different teams, different years, different types of seasons for different players, but Vernon Adams looked fantastic in this game. He can carry that momentum over, and it's a very different game plan when they're facing a Bomber defense with Willie Jefferson and Jeff Cote off the edges, and they're facing a run game like the Bombers have in Brady Oliveira, and that's the challenge.